Did you know that billions of dollars is set aside in government contracts each and every year for minority-owned businesses? And it's just crazy to me how most businesses don't even know how to tap into this opportunity. If you are a minority-owned business here in New York City, today I'm going to show you how you can get certified, how you can win contracts, and how you can secure funding to grow your business. So by the end of this video, you're going to know what a minority certification is, who can qualify for a minority certification, how to apply for a certification, and finally, how to market that certification. So let's jump straight into it. A minority certification is not just a label. It's actually a gateway to larger projects, contract financing, and also other opportunities to help grow your business. It doesn't matter if you're in construction, IT, you're a consultant, or you even do catering. This certification will put you ahead of most of the competition. In New York City alone, they award over $25 billion in contracts each and every year. You need to get your piece. So let me break down 3 reasons why getting your certification is a game changer. The first one is you will be able to get access to contracts you'll never be able to have access to. Now, when it comes to access to these large projects, these projects usually range anywhere between from $50 to $100 million per contract. And usually they tell the big prime contractors, hey, you have to allot 30% to minority-owned vendors. So for a position like me doing fire alarm and security, any building, any school, or whatever structure that go up, you're going to need a fire alarm system. You're going to need a camera system. You're going to need a burglar alarm system. You're going to need some type of security system within that building. So that's how I position myself in this market, by being a niche fire alarm and security company when it comes to marketing my minority certification. Now, the second reason is very important. Even if you don't know how to conduct business or even land contracts to even find jobs to grow your business, the School Construction Authority and also the MTA, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, they have a mentor program. So if you can solely focus on the School Construction Authority program, it's a program that'll take you 4 years. Either you make $4 million or you graduate after 4 years. And what it is just a small classroom, 20 to 30 people, where they have jobs that set aside up to $1 million that you guys just bid on. So you have the opportunity to learn how to bid on projects, learn how to actually manage a whole entire project. So when you graduate from that program, you can now actually bid on the capital improvement projects, the $50 to $100 million projects. So that way you can actually really exponentially grow your business. So this gives you an opportunity to actually bid on a project and actually win, because you're only facing just the classroom instead of the whole entire world, or however many people actually bidding on these larger projects out there. So SCA or MTA is a great place to start once you get your minority certification. You can just solely focus on that and make money to grow your business. And the last thing is contract financing. What the city will do is actually help you finance a project. So for me, if I had a fire alarm project that I had to install a full fire alarm system, then I had to hire electricians at prevailing wage rate. Whatever my calculations are, if it's a $300,000 job, I will then step to the city to actually get contract financing so they can help support me on this project, give me the money so that way I can pay the guys and actually finance the job, so that way I can complete the work and don't have to worry about where I'm going to get the money from. They're going to get paid throughout the project. You're going to be the prime vendor because you're going to look good because you was able to get some financing, complete the project, and also pay them back. So when it comes to larger project, there's going to be no problem when it comes to extending money to you. In this next segment, I'm going to explain to you who qualifies for a New York City minority certification. To qualify, your business must meet 3 main criteria. The first one is you must be at least 51% minority owned. That's Black, Hispanic, Asians, or Native Americans. The second one is you have to be in business for at least 1 year. The third one is you have to have a real presence in New York City or the surrounding areas. You must be a business that operates in the city that you are applying for. So in this next segment, I'm going to show you step by step how you can get yourself certified in New York City. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to this website, newyorkcity-business.newyorkcity.gov/New York City Business. This link will be in the description so you can get straight to this page so you can follow on. So the application fee is free to apply, so that's a good thing. And every time you have to renew, it's also free. You renew, I believe, 5 years, every 5 years. So this is my first time renewing, so it's been about 5 years now. So every 5 years, you have to renew your certification. So it's very important that you keep the information up to date. Your latest projects, your address information, you want to put your financials up there, you can put your financials up there. I don't put my financials up there. What I put is the project value. I like how much my largest project value. So like I said before, there are definitely several benefits for applying for the New York City minority certification. It puts you on a database of certified businesses. You could scrub that list where you can find prime vendors where you can partner with to be a subcontractor on. As long as you can fulfill your portion of the contract, then you should be fine. You have to be Black, Hispanic, Asian Pacific, Asian Indian, or Native American. The business must have one of the following legal structures. You must be a sole proprietor, limited liability, LLC or corporation. You could be an LLP, a partnership or a general partnership. I am set up as a corporation. I'm actually set up as an S corporation. That's for another video. I can explain to you why I'm set up for an S corporation. If you're a nonprofit organization, you are not eligible. Your office or your business must be located within the counties of New York and New Jersey. So you could actually, when I first started out, I was using my home address, for my business address. I was dedicating the entire basement for my address. Now, I know for sure, even when I started it, we all know that you're not supposed to use your home address, but what are you supposed to do if you ain't got no money? So I used my home address until I was able to get myself a virtual address, and then I changed all my paperwork information. Here are the counties that you would have to live in order to register to be a minority vendor. Caveat, if you are outside of the New York City area, you just have to prove that you do work within the city. So if you're a fire alarm company and you're registered with the fire department to perform work in New York City, that's a way to show that you do work within New York City. So all you have to do is prove that you do work in the city, regardless of where you live at. But it's best if you live within the geographical areas. It's easier for you to submit, less paperwork. You got to have a business bank account for at least 6 months. If you have like a specialty trade, like for me, I need my fire alarm license to perform fire alarm work. If you're an electrician, you're going to need an electrical license. If you're a plumber, you're going to need a plumber's license. So whatever trade you have, you're going to need a license for that trade. So if you're a realty investor, you're going to need a realtor's license. So whatever license you need for whatever industry that you're in, you're going to have to prove that. You're going to need a proof of your business transactions. Now, all that means is, let's say you made a sale. There's no denomination. From what they told me when I was in class, there's no denomination of how much this has to be. It just has to show that you invoiced for, you went out there, sent the quote. The quote got approved. You sent it. You did the work. You got an invoice. You sent them the invoice. They paid the invoice. That money went into your bank account. So that is the process that they want to see. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to the MWBE, sbs.newyorkcity.gov, or you can leave your questions in the comments and I'll definitely answer your questions. So that is pretty much the outline of the particular program. So this is how you're going to apply. And we're going to go through this checklist, and I'm going to show you exactly the paperwork that you're going to need in order to submit it, so you can submit it once and get yourself approved. New York City is a lot, I'm not going to say easier, but you can fast track the New York City application. The New York State application, you cannot fast track it. It's 2 years, it's 48 months to the date you submit, literally. But New York City, you can fast track this and get this within 30 to 60 days. Think about this. When you apply for your minority certification, it opens up other doors for like these agencies right here. And I can go in depth into all these agencies. We're registered with each one of these agencies in order to, bid on projects and get work and join mentor programs so that way you could grow your business. So the first one is the New York City Construction Authority. That's the SCA. They build all the New York City schools. The next one is the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. This is all track work throughout New York and New Jersey for the Port Authority. You have the Women's Presidential Educational Organization. You have the New York and New Jersey Minority Supply Development Council. You can register with them. They help you and connect you with prime vendors. And then you have the New York State of Economic Development. So all of these agencies can help you grow your business. They also train you, teach you how to bid on government contracts or how to read the solicitation, when you should submit your solicitation. It gives you all the information you need to help you grow your business, and also how to manage projects within the government sector. Especially if you're eligible, you definitely want to submit your paperwork to those agencies as well. Once you start MWBE process, just move on to the next agency, to the next agency, to the next agency. Take those classes. They will definitely help you, especially within the first 2 years. It'll start helping you develop your business and get your brain where it needs to be as you're trying to run your business. Of course, you must have a registered EIN. Your business must be registered as a vendor in New York City. To do that, you must go to the PIP. They call that the PIP. That's the Payee Information Portal. What you would need to do is register there. They will give you a vendor number, and that is how they can track the payments, or that's how you can actually bid on New York City projects. So you also would have to register inside the Passport Portal. Inside the Passport Portal, that's where the bids come in at. So when you want to, submit a quote for whatever solicitation that's out there throughout these city agencies, you have the opportunity to do that through the passport, and you could filter it out so that way you get the jobs only that you want. You must be authorized to submit the application, meaning if you're the owner, if you're the only owner, you own 100% of the business, only you are the one authorized to submit this business. However, if it's broken down into, partners, you have to be at least 51% owned. So if you have partners, all of you guys have to be minorities, so that way you can make up the 51% or 51 percentage, so that way you can apply for this application. And then there's tons of free business workshops like QuickBooks. I went through QuickBooks, a construction mentoring program. I went through a bond readiness program. There's a lot of different programs to actually help you develop your business. So let's take a look at this PDF so we can see exactly what we need when we submit this application. So when you're submitting your application, this is the documentation you're going to need. You're going to need a resume for everyone who has ownership or interest in the business. If it's just you, you're going to need a resume for you. This is going to be like a business resume, the resume for the business, not a resume as if you are looking for a job. So let me give you an example of what that looked like. So here's a sample, my sample resume, straightforward style, nothing fancy or anything like that. So all I'm expressing is, same resume style, your name, address, and everything like that. What you need to do is submit a resume for everyone who has ownership or interest in the business. If it's just you would submit your resume. They want to see if you're qualified to do the work, or, your background history, or what you perform within your business. You're also going to need some bank letters. When you open up a bank account, you'll get a signature card, and that's usually, it's not an actual card, but it's like a PDF form that you'll sign. So those documents that you sign, one of them will be a signature card, and you can get that from the teller. They can print that straight out. It will have your routing number, your bank account information. The sign is on that account if it's you or a couple other people, but if it's just you, it'll have you as the only signer. And also if you're a corporation, it'll have the corporation name and also your name as the signers. Then it'll have your daily bank balance, whatever that is. You will also need your business, federal, state, and city tax return. So if you're in business within the first year, you would have to wait till after that first year. So once you have that first year in your business, you go file your taxes. And once you file your taxes, you are now eligible to apply for the minority certificate. But you have to be in business at least 1 year, and you have to have at least filed your taxes. If there's businesses out there that probably been around 3, 4, 5 years and never filed taxes, so you at least need 1 year tax returns. So you need a proof of U.S. citizenship or permanent resident alien status for each owner. You also would need your license and permit. For me, like I said, I need my fire alarm license, so I have to upload my fire alarm license to let them know I am licensed to do or licensed to install fire alarm and security systems. You need your lease agreement or proof of ownership. If you have the crib, if you got the home, submit your rental lease or whatever it is. If you got a virtual address, you submit that as well. It doesn't matter, what the address is. Of course, if you're a business, you're supposed to have a separate address. But if you're starting out just like me, I was using my home address. Just try to protect yourself as best as you can. Now we have business contracts and invoices. So for us, when we send out a quote or proposal and someone sign it, that's your contract right there. Now, once you sign the proposal, you go perform the work, you finish the work, and you invoice them. You may get 50% up front, like a deposit, and then you get the completion once you finish, or you may get the whole thing at the end. However you conduct your business, you will have to show that you sent out a contract, they signed it, you billed them, and then you got paid for it. You also have to prove your minority group status. There's paperwork out there that you could fill out and notarize to claim your status. the business start details. So what I had to do here was I had to write a Word document outlining how I started the business. And that letter just described that I bought me a laptop. And I showed the proof that I bought the laptop from the receipt that I had on Amazon at the time, Amazon or eBay, whichever one, and just attached that receipt with it as proof of me buying this laptop to start my business. So however you started your business, that's how you want to demonstrate that. If it was your last paycheck when you got fired or quit your job, or if you just decided to start with no money and use whatever you have currently, you just describe that. If your business is incorporated outside the state, you must provide that certificate of authority. So if you're an LLC or corporation, whatever it is, they got the articles of incorporated, then they have the articles of organization. So whatever your paperwork is when you file for your business and you download that information, that's what you have to submit. If you're a sole proprietor, you must provide a business certificate. I'm a corporation, so I had to upload my articles of incorporated. That's once you file for the business name and you get your articles of incorporated, you pay $125 and another $5 or $10 so that way you can download it or get a certified copy. So once you download it, you actually now have a formed business. Well, it's not active until you open a bank account, but that's another story. But you actually have a formed business once you pay that money and download that articles of incorporated. And also, if you're a partnership, you just got to provide that paperwork, that agreement. And usually you can get that, you can just write out a standard agreement between the two on how you're going to distribute the money. Same as a LP, a limited partnership. Same as an LLC and a corporation. So you just have to provide the documentation of how you formed your business. So if you're still struggling, remember, you can join the Fire Alarm Blueprint course where we break this down for you step by step. So in this next segment, I'm going to give you some pro tips of how you can win government contracts 10 times faster. I've done 2 videos. The first video is showing you how to write a winning proposal. That way you can actually win contracts with the government. And the second one is actually going through a whole entire solicitation process. So I suggest you watch those 2 videos to get yourself familiar with how you can break down a bid and also extract the information, put it inside a proposal, and then submit that so you can actually win that government project. And the second one is, once you register, you're going to want to also register to the Passport database. That portal, you could actually filter out the type of jobs or whatever specific niche that you're in, so that way you can get those alerts of those jobs straight to your email inbox. And the third and fourth one, I'm going to kind of combine. So when you apply for your New York City certification, you also want to cross apply for the SEA and also the MTA Port Authority, so that way it can open up the doors when it comes to schoolwork. The SEA builds all of the New York City schools, and the Port Authority, the MTA, that's track work. Wherever the MTA goes on that track, and wherever New York and New Jersey Port Authority goes on that track, you're able to bid on these contracts whenever they have any contracts or they put any solicitations out there for you to bid on. So in this next segment, I'm going to show you how you can leverage your certification to grow your business. The first one is, once you register, you complete some work, you want to make sure you update your registration each year, because as you grow your business, I'm pretty sure you're going to be getting larger and larger projects. So what you want to do is put the highest project you've done on your profile. So when they come look at you, they see that you're actually a business as they're making money and doing larger and larger projects. The second one is, once you get certified, you're going to be put into a database. What you can do then is actually scrub that database and look for other minority vendors. For me, since I was a fire alarm company, and in New York City, you need an electrician, or you need a plumber, or you need some other vendor that has a Wix trade to actually get the project to hire me as a subcontractor. So what I did, I used to scrub for all the electrical contractors that I could find that was on that database, and all I did was just reach out to them with an email, phone call, introduce myself, find out how we can partner. Hey, I do fire alarm, I do security. If you have anything in the future, just keep me in mind. Can I add you to my marketing list? Yes or no? Then I put them into the list, so that way I can keep in front of them with the products and services that I actually do. From that, I get phone calls, or I just get a job straight up. Hey, I just need your price to put a system in. Here you go, Mr. Electrician. Thank you very much. And the third one is very, 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 very important. What I mean by that is, if you get a job and you say that you can actually do this job, your promise to the customer, your promise to the electrician, the promise to the prime contractor, the promise to everyone you can't complete that job. I would not take a job that is too large for me that I couldn't do. So if it's a fire alarm system that I know will cost me well over $1 million, I can't handle that. Even with financing, I just can't handle that. I will have to partner with somebody or partner with the electrician if they have the capital to see how we could come together. If I have to give them more money in the contract, then so be it. But other than that, you have to be able to complete the work that you actually win as a government contractor. With my company, Secured Securities, we've navigated the government sector for the past 5 years, so I know how much of an impact it can be on growing your business. If you want more guidance, I have a step-by-step program called the Fire Alarm Business Blueprint. It'll take you from A to B when it comes to either open up your service-based business or either actual fire alarm company, from getting your license to marketing to actually branding your own business. So, Fire Alarm Business Blueprint, link in description. If you're looking to learn how to program fire alarm systems for free, go to my website, www.securesecurities.com. Look for the Trainer Center, sign up, 100% free. If you want to learn something specific, let's have a conversation in the comments, and I'll create that video for you. Peace.